Opel Grand Prix Rennwagen 1913. The Opel Grand Prix racing car was a racing car that was used by the German automobile manufacturer Opel in 1913 and 1914. The 1913 Grand Prix racing car was the first Opel built exclusively for racing. It was specially designed for the start of the French Grand Prix, the most prestigious automobile race in the world at the time, and, due to the maximum weight of 1,000 kilograms required there, consisted of as many lightweight components as possible. The car had a 4-cylinder in-line engine with an overhead camshaft, 4 valves per cylinder and 3,970 cm displacement, which made 110 horsepower. Some sources also mention 90 horsepower. This engine was the very first Opel unit with 4 valves per cylinder. For the 1914 racing season, the displacement was increased to 4,500 cm, which increased the power to 132 horsepower. The front axle, which was still unbraked in 1913, now had drum brakes. The Grand Prix racing car was used in the 1913 French Grand Prix on the circuits of Picardy near Amiens and was driven by Carl JRNS. JRNS retired early in the race due to engine failure. The Opel Works team entered the 1914 French Grand Prix on the eve of World War I with 3 vehicles and drivers Carl JRNS, Franz Breckheimer and Emil Rundtmann. While Rundtmann and Breckheimer retired on the 9th lap of the race over 20 laps in the heat and thus about 750 kilometers due to an accident or defect, JRNS was 10th after a big chase. The race, which in retrospect was often referred to as the greatest Grand Prix of all time, ended with a triple victory from Mercedes drivers Christian Lautenschläger, Louis Wagner and Otto Selzer. In August 1914, 2 vehicles were shipped to England for a race on the Brooklands Railway. The third was so badly damaged at the French Grand Prix that it had to be repaired at the Rüsselsheim plant. When the 2 vehicles arrived, the German Empire had already mobilized its troops. The Opel team fled and the 2 racing cars were confiscated as spoils of war. The vehicles were later used by English drivers and drove several victories in Brooklands, Yorkshire and London in the 1920s. One of the cars was purchased in 1990 from the Opel dealer Richard Wiens from Billerbeck. Another, presumably Carl JRNS emergency vehicle, was owned by the Englishman John Bentley. The third vehicle, the one left at the factory for repairs in 1914, is still part of the Adam Opel AG historical collection to this day. In 2004 the 3 vehicles were reunited for the first time on the occasion of the 100th anniversary of the Gordon Bennett Cup in Bad Homburg-Verdere. From May 1 to May 3, 2014, all 3 cars took part in the Jubilee Drive for the 1914 French Grand Prix in Brignoles.